Welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen, and enjoy my stories every day. The screech of tires tore through the evening air, a jarring prelude to the chaos that followed. I remember it vividly, the crisp fall air, the fading light of day, and the thud that echoed in my chest as the world spun around me. I had just stepped off the curb, my mind preoccupied with thoughts of dinner, when the car struck me, the force knocking me to the ground. The shock stole my breath, and I fought to comprehend the sudden twist of fate. "Are you okay?" a voice called out, frantically. I blinked, struggling to focus on the figure that rushed toward me. It was a stranger, his face pale with concern. I could barely hear him over the pounding in my ears. "Help is on the way," he shouted, but I barely registered his words. As I lay there, disoriented, another voice broke through the fog. "Oh my God! What have you done?" It was my wife, Mia, pushing through the small crowd that had gathered. She looked frantic, but there was something in her eyes, an edge of something else that I couldn't place. "What happened?" I croaked, trying to lift my head. "Just stay still. Don't move." Mia knelt beside me, her hands trembling as she brushed my hair back from my forehead. "An ambulance is coming." I turned my head slightly, catching a glimpse of the driver. His face was familiar, a shadow from a life I hadn't fully realized I was living. It was Ethan, my neighbor, a man I'd never thought twice about, but there he was, hovering near the car, panic-stricken and looking like he might faint. My heart sank as pieces of a puzzle began to align. "Ethan, why are you driving my car?" The realization hit me like a second blow. Mia hesitated, her eyes darting to Ethan, then back to me. "It's not what you think," she stammered, but the words hung heavy in the air. "Then what is it?" I demanded, anger bubbling beneath the surface of my confusion. Mia opened her mouth, but before she could speak, the sirens of the ambulance wailed in the distance. "Listen to me, please," she pleaded as paramedics arrived, their faces masked with professionalism. "I'll explain everything. Just let them take care of you first." The world began to fade as they lifted me onto a stretcher. My thoughts spiraled, replaying the scene over and over. What had I missed? What betrayal was unfolding in front of me, hidden in plain sight? The hospital was a blur of white walls and muted voices. As I lay in the ER, my body heavy with pain, the reality of my situation settled in. Mia hovered near my bedside, guilt etched across her face. "I didn't want this to happen," she whispered, tears brimming in her eyes. "What did you want, Mia?" I shot back, my voice hoarse. "To take my life insurance money? To run off with Ethan?" "No. That's not it." She leaned closer, desperation mingling with her fear. "I thought it would be a way to." "To what?" "To get rid of me." My heart raced, fueled by betrayal. "You set this up, didn't you?" Mia recoiled, and I could see the panic in her eyes. "No. I would never." "Then how do you explain this? You were supposed to be my partner. You were supposed to have my back." I struggled against the pain, emotions swirling like a storm. "I was scared," she confessed, her voice breaking. "I didn't want you to find out about Ethan. I thought this was the only way." "Thought what?" "That you could just play with my life." I couldn't contain the rage anymore. "You've betrayed me, and now I'm lying here because of you and your lover." Mia flinched at the accusation. "Please, just listen." But I couldn't listen. My heart was shattered, the pieces too sharp to touch. As the doctors began their work, I felt the weight of her betrayal pulling me deeper into a pit of despair. "Get out," I demanded, my voice barely above a whisper. "Just go." "I can't leave you like this," she argued, but I was resolute. "Leave. I don't want to see your face again." The words fell like a guillotine, severing the last thread of trust that had bound us. As she stepped back, I felt the finality of my decision. I had a plan now, a dark idea sprouting in my mind like a weed in a garden. If she thought she could destroy my life and walk away with her lover, she had another thing coming. Days passed, and with each moment of clarity, my resolve hardened. I couldn't let her get away with this. My life, my future, was at stake, and she had crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed. I would ruin her destiny, make her feel the weight of her betrayal. As I plotted my revenge, a chilling calm washed over me. I would divorce my unfaithful wife, dismantle the life she had built on deceit. And once I did, I wouldn't look back. The islands she dreamed of with Ethan would be just that, dreams, forever out of reach. The pain in my body was a mere echo compared to the anguish in my heart. I was done being a victim. The game had changed, and this time, I would be the one in control. Mia would learn that betrayal comes with a price. And I was more than willing to collect. The days in the hospital pass in a blur of faces and voices, but nothing penetrates the fog of betrayal that envelopes me. Each time I see Mia, I feel the urge to lash out. She floats in and out of my room, her presence a reminder of the life I once had, now tainted and shattered. I can't help but replay the moments leading to the accident, the signs I missed, the late nights, the hushed phone calls. Each memory is a dagger in my heart. Can we talk? Mia asks one afternoon, her voice barely above a whisper as she enters my room, hesitating at the door. I sit up slightly, the hospital gown irritating against my skin. What more is there to say? You set me up to get hit by a car. I'm unable to mask the venom in my voice. She flinches but presses on. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. I thought I could. Thought you could what? I cut her off, my anger bubbling over. Get rid of me without any consequences. You've made a fool of me, Mia. I thought it would be easy. I didn't think Ethan would drive so recklessly. I just wanted us to be happy, to be free of the pressure. Free of what? Your guilt. Because let me tell you, your plan backfired spectacularly. I gripped the edge of the bed, my knuckles whitening. I was going to make a life with you, and you threw it away for a fling. Her eyes brim with tears. It wasn't just a fling. I love him. The admission lands like a punch in the gut. Love? She loves him. The word feels heavy in the air, loaded with betrayal. I can't bear to look at her anymore. Get out. Just leave me alone, I say, my voice breaking. Please. Now. I shout, the raw pain erupting like a volcano. I can't contain it. I'm done. Mia stares at me, her expression a mix of hurt and confusion, but she eventually turns and walks out, the door clicking shut behind her. I sink back against the pillows, the ache in my body fading compared to the one in my heart. That night, I lie awake, the shadows of the room stretching like the dark thoughts spiraling in my mind. I refuse to let Mia have the last word. I need a plan, a way to make her understand the magnitude of what she's done. Revenge isn't just a desire, it's a necessity. I can't allow her to escape this unscathed. The following morning, I call my attorney, Mark, a steady presence in my otherwise chaotic life. I need to meet with you, I say, my tone clipped. Is everything okay? Mark asks, concern lacing his voice. Not even close. I want to start divorce proceedings. There's a pause on the line. That's sudden. Are you sure? Absolutely. This isn't just about her betrayal. I want to ensure she doesn't get a dime of my life insurance money. I understand. Let's meet in person to discuss the details. I'll come to the hospital, he offers. As I hang up, a grim satisfaction settles in my chest. This is just the beginning. I'll make sure Mia realizes the consequences of her actions. When Mark arrives, I explain everything: the accident, Mia's betrayal, and my plan. I want to file for divorce immediately, I say, leaning forward, a fierce determination in my eyes. Let's get started then, Mark replies, pulling out a notepad. We need to gather evidence of her infidelity, and I'll draft the paperwork. This is going to get messy. Good, I reply, a cold smile creeping onto my face. I want it to be messy. I want her to feel every bit of this. Mark raises an eyebrow. That's not always the best strategy. You want to protect yourself and your interests. I don't care about protecting her. She's already made her choice. I want her to pay for what she did to me. As we dive into the details, I feel a surge of power. I'm no longer the victim, I'm reclaiming my life. I won't allow Mia to drag me into her web of lies any longer. The next few days blur into one another, filled with hospital visits, legal jargon, and conversations that feel like they're happening in a different world. But every interaction with Mia only strengthens my resolve. Each time I see her, I remember the life I had, the trust she shattered. I decide it's time to confront Ethan. I need answers. I need to look him in the eye and see the man who so casually took everything from me. After some discreet inquiries, I find out that he works at a local bar, a dive not far from the hospital. That evening, I push myself to sit up and dress, pain gnawing at me as I pull on a shirt and jeans. I grab my crutches, feeling their weight as I make my way out of the hospital. The night air is crisp, invigorating, and laced with a sense of purpose. The bar is dimly lit, filled with the sounds of laughter and clinking glasses. I spot Ethan in a corner, his back to me, pouring drinks for a couple at the bar. My heart races, adrenaline surging through my veins. Ethan! I call out, my voice cutting through the noise. He turns, surprise flashing across his face, quickly replaced by a mask of indifference. What are you doing here? I came to talk, I say, forcing my way through the crowd. We need to have a little chat about your reckless driving and my wife. Look, man, I didn't mean for any of this to happen, he stammers, but I can see the guilt etched on his face. No. You didn't mean to hit me, but you were the one behind the wheel. You knew she was married, yet you still went after her. Why? I step closer, my fists clenching at my sides. Ethan shifts uncomfortably. It just happened. We connected. I didn't plan on this. Connecting with my wife. You think that's an excuse? I can feel the heat radiating off me. You destroyed my life. He takes a step back, glancing around as if seeking an escape. I'm sorry, okay? But she wanted this too. I thought you two were done. Done? You have no idea what you've done. My voice rises, and I can feel the anger bubbling over. I won't let either of you get away with this. As I storm out of the bar, I know this is just the beginning. I'll take everything from her. I'll dismantle the life she built on deceit, and I won't stop until she feels every ounce of my pain. With a renewed sense of purpose, I make my way back to the hospital, the weight of my decision settling comfortably on my shoulders. I'll ruin her destiny, and I'll enjoy every moment of it. The following morning, I wake up with a fire in my gut and a sense of purpose I haven't felt in a long time. The hospital room, sterile and dull, serves as a constant reminder of Mia's betrayal, but I refuse to let it hold me captive. As the sun streams through the window, I know I have work to do, plans to set in motion that will dismantle the life Mia and Ethan have built on my back. Mark arrives just after noon, a stack of papers in hand. How are you holding up? He asks, concern etched on his face. Better than yesterday, I reply, forcing a smile that doesn't quite reach my eyes. Let's get down to business. I want to file the divorce papers and start gathering evidence against Mia. Right. We'll need to document everything: texts, emails, any proof of her infidelity, Mark says, pulling out a notepad. I assume you have some already. Enough to make her squirm, I retort, my mind racing with the possibilities. I want her to know I'm serious about this. He nods, jotting down notes. We can subpoena phone records if necessary, but I recommend starting with what you have. It's easier and faster. Good. Let's get it all lined up. The thought of Mia's shocked expression when she realizes I'm not going down without a fight fills me with a grim satisfaction. Later that evening, I pull out my phone, scrolling through the messages I've saved. The words stare back at me, each one a dagger that pierces the facade of my former life. I find the text from Mia that reads, "We need to talk. I can't keep doing this." That was the moment I should have known, the moment I should have seen the cracks in our marriage. I tap out a quick message to Mark: I want to set up a meeting with Mia. I need to confront her before we proceed with the divorce. He replies almost immediately, "Are you sure that's wise? It might complicate things." I don't care. I want her to see what she's lost. Mark sighs, the exhalation a weighty pause in our digital conversation. Fine. I'll arrange it. Just be careful. I nod to myself, knowing that this confrontation is crucial. It's not just about the divorce, it's about regaining control of my life. The next day, Mia arrives at the hospital, her expression a mix of concern and apprehension. "You wanted to see me?" she asks, her voice trembling slightly as she enters the room. "Sit down," I say, motioning to the chair beside my bed. "We need to talk." She hesitates but eventually takes a seat, folding her hands in her lap. "I'm sorry about everything, you know that. I didn't mean for it to go this far." "Didn't mean for what to go this far?" I fire back, my voice low but intense. "Didn't mean for me to get hit by a car. Or didn't mean for you to get caught in your lies." Mia winces, her eyes darting to the floor. "I was scared, okay? I didn't know how to tell you. I thought." "You thought what?" "That you could just hide your affair and I wouldn't notice." I can feel the anger boiling inside me, each word dripping with contempt. "I had a right to know. I trusted you." "Trust is a fragile thing," she mutters, barely audible. "Right, and you shattered it," I reply sharply. "You shattered everything. And now, because of your choices, I'm filing for divorce." Her head snaps up, shock widening her eyes. "What? You can't be serious." "I'm dead serious, Mia. I'm not going to be a pawn in your game anymore. You've made your choice, and now I'm making mine. I can't lose you," she pleads, her voice cracking. "I love you. I thought we could work through this." "Love? You love me. You've betrayed me in the worst possible way." I'm shaking now, the reality of our situation hitting me harder than any car ever could. "You're in love with someone else. That's not love, that's manipulation." "Ethan means nothing to me," she insists, desperation creeping into her voice. "I want to fix this. I'll do whatever it takes." "Whatever it takes?" "Like getting hit by a car?" I ask incredulously. "You wanted me out of the picture, Mia. Don't lie to me." "I was wrong, I know that now. But please, let's talk about this. We can go to counseling, try to make things work." Her eyes are wide with pleading, but all I see is the woman who plotted my demise. I'm not interested in counseling with someone who can't even be honest with me. You've shown your true colors, and I won't forget that. I take a deep breath, forcing myself to calm down. This isn't just about us anymore, it's about my future. I'm taking control. Mia's face crumbles as the weight of my words settles in. "What do you want from me? What can I do to change your mind?" Nothing, I say flatly. I've made my decision, and you'll have to live with the consequences. She stands abruptly, her chair scraping against the floor. You're making a mistake, she cries, but I can see the cracks in her facade. The guilt is there, lurking beneath the surface. I'm making the only choice I have left, I reply, my voice steady. As she storms out, I feel a wave of relief wash over me. I've faced her, stood my ground, and now I'm ready to move forward. The path to my revenge is clearer now, and I won't let anything or anyone stand in my way. I spend the next few days strategizing with Mark, going over every detail of the divorce proceedings. We gather evidence, text messages, screenshots, and anything else that might help strengthen my case. Each piece I collect feels like a small victory, a step toward reclaiming my life. Once we file, she'll have to respond, Mark explains during one of our meetings. And if she contests it, it will just drag things out. Let her contest it, I say with a bitter smile. I want her to fight for something she doesn't deserve. As the days turn into weeks, I can feel the anticipation building within me. The weight of my revenge fuels me, pushing me to take control of my destiny. I'm no longer the victim, I'm the architect of my own fate. The day finally arrives when Mark and I prepare to file the divorce papers. I can barely contain my excitement. Are you ready for this? He asks, glancing at me as we step into his office. More than ready, I reply, my heart racing. Let's get this started. As we sit down to sign the documents, I feel a sense of finality wash over me. I'm reclaiming my life, piece by piece, and nothing can stop me now. I know Mia will fight, and I can't wait to watch her struggle with the consequences of her actions. Let's do this, I say, signing my name with a flourish. Mark smiles, and as he files the papers, I feel a thrill of exhilaration. The game has begun, and I'm ready for whatever comes next. My plan for retribution is unfolding, and I won't rest until I've turned the tables on my unfaithful wife. The tension in the air is palpable as I sit in Mark's office, the divorce papers freshly filed. It feels surreal, like I'm on the precipice of a new life, and I can barely contain my excitement. I know Mia will fight, and that's exactly what I want. I need her to feel the weight of her betrayal, to experience every ounce of pain she caused me. Now that we've filed, we wait for her response, Mark says, breaking my thoughts. She'll have a set time to contest it. Prepare for a fight. I'm ready for whatever she throws at me, I reply, a cold smile creeping onto my face. I want her to understand that actions have consequences. Days turn into weeks as I prepare for the inevitable confrontation. I can feel the anticipation building within me like a coiled spring. Mia, sensing the impending storm, tries to reach out, sending texts filled with apologies and pleas for forgiveness. I ignore them all, letting them fester like a wound. Then one day, I receive a notification: Mia has officially contested the divorce. She's not going to go down without a fight, Mark notes, his brow furrowing as he reads the documents. She's claiming emotional distress and wants to negotiate for a settlement. Settlement? I scoff. She doesn't get to negotiate anything after what she's done. Mark leans back in his chair. You're going to need to stay focused. This is going to get ugly. The night of the first court hearing, I feel a whirlwind of emotions coursing through me. The courtroom is sterile, the air thick with tension. Mia walks in, dressed impeccably, her hair perfectly styled, a stark contrast to the turmoil within me. The sight of her infuriates me, a reminder of everything I've lost. Let's not drag this out, I say, my voice firm as I take the stand. This isn't about negotiation, it's about justice. Mia's attorney stands, her face a mask of confidence. Your Honor, my client is simply seeking a fair resolution after the emotional turmoil she has suffered. Emotional turmoil. I bark, unable to contain my anger. You mean the turmoil caused by her own actions? She put a hit on my life. I was hit by a car because she couldn't own up to her mistakes. The judge looks at me with raised eyebrows, clearly taken aback by my outburst. Calm yourself, Mr. Sanders, he admonishes, but I can't help it. My rage has been bottled up for too long. Mia, sitting across the room, casts me a pitying glance. You don't understand anything. I was desperate. Desperate for what? To ruin my life. I retort, my heart pounding in my chest. You didn't think about me when you decided to betray everything we had. The judge tries to regain control of the courtroom, but the tension has escalated. Mia's lawyer interrupts, Your Honor, we ask for a recess to allow my client to collect her thoughts. Fine. We'll reconvene in 30 minutes, the judge replies, slamming his gavel. As I step out into the hallway, my pulse races. I see Mia outside the courtroom, her face drawn tight with anger and regret. You don't have to do this, she pleads, her voice low and desperate. We can still fix this. Fix this. I laugh bitterly. How? By pretending nothing happened. You were willing to throw my life away for your little affair. This isn't about fixing anything. It's about making you understand the depth of your betrayal. I was wrong. I know that now. Please, just let's talk about this like adults, she says, her voice trembling. Adults? I scoff. What adult would stab their partner in the back like you did? You're delusional if you think I'd ever want to speak to you again. Mia's eyes flash with something dark. You think you're so righteous, don't you? Just wait until you see what I can do. The recess ends, and as we return to the courtroom, I feel a sense of unease creeping in. Mia has something up her sleeve, and I need to be prepared. The judge calls us back to order, and as Mia takes her seat, I notice a smug expression on her face. Her attorney presents a series of messages, each one meticulously curated to paint me as the villain. Your Honor, we have evidence that Mr. Sanders has been harassing my client since the accident. This is a clear attempt to emotionally manipulate her. I feel the blood drain from my face as the judge glances at me, an eyebrow raised. Mr. Sanders, how do you respond to these allegations? I grit my teeth, fury coursing through me. Those messages were a reaction to her betrayal. She orchestrated my near death, and now she wants to play the victim. Mia leans back, a satisfied smile on her face as I struggle to keep my composure. Let's face it, you've lost control, Mark. It's over, she whispers. But I refuse to give in. You think this is over? You're underestimating me, I snap, feeling the tension crackle in the air. This is just the beginning. I will expose you for the liar you are. As the hearing concludes, the judge calls for another recess, and I storm out of the courtroom, the weight of despair pressing down on me. But I won't let her win. I have a plan, and it's time to put it into action. That evening, I gather the evidence I need, the texts, the photographs, everything that shows Mia's true nature. I'll send it all to her family, her friends, anyone who'll listen. I want the world to know who she really is. With shaking hands, I draft an email, including everything I've collected over the months, every sordid detail of her affair with Ethan. This is what betrayal looks like, I type, my heart racing. This is who she really is. I hit send, watching as the email disappears into the ether. The adrenaline surges through me, and I can't help but smile. This is the justice I've been seeking. The next day, I'm waiting in my hospital room when I hear the familiar sound of footsteps. Mia barges in, fury etched across her face. You think you can just ruin my life? You're pathetic. Pathetic? I laugh, a bitter sound that echoes in the room. You brought this on yourself, Mia. You chose betrayal, and now the world will see you for who you really are. Her face pales, realization dawning on her. You sent that email, didn't you? I did. And now everyone knows what a monster you've become, I reply, my voice steady. I won't let you walk away unscathed. You'll pay for your choices. Mia's eyes flash with anger. You think this is over? I'll make you regret this. Regret? I've never felt more alive. You wanted to take everything from me, but now I'm the one taking everything from you. Your friends will know. Your family will know. And Ethan? He'll see you for the liar you are. In a moment of heated rage, she lunges at me, but I dodge, grabbing her wrist and twisting it behind her back. Don't ever think you can intimidate me again, I hiss, releasing her as she stumbles back. Just wait, she says, her voice shaking. You think you're so clever, but I have friends who will destroy you. Bring it on, Mia. I'm not afraid of your threats anymore. I'll see you in court, and I'll make sure everyone knows the truth. With the final confrontation hanging heavy in the air, I can feel the weight of betrayal lifting. I've taken control of my life, and there's no turning back. As Mia storms out, her face a mask of rage, I realize this is the end of the line for us. Days later, I receive a call from Mark. The hearing is set for next week. Are you ready? More than ready, I reply, a determined edge in my voice. I'm not backing down. I want this finalized. Mia's attempts to intimidate me are futile. I have the upper hand now, and she'll have to face the consequences of her actions. As the hearing approaches, I steel myself for the battle ahead. I know Mia will fight tooth and nail, but I'm prepared for her. This is not just about a divorce, it's about reclaiming my life and my dignity. In the courtroom, the tension is thick as the judge prepares to hear our case. I glance over at Mia, who is pale and trembling with anger. I feel a rush of satisfaction at the sight. Your Honor, I begin, my voice steady. I stand before you not just as a victim, but as a man who has been betrayed by the person I loved most. I have the evidence to show my wife's deception and the lengths she went to ruin my life. As I present my case, I can see the shift in the room. Mia's confidence wanes as the truth unravels. The judge listens intently, the weight of the evidence hanging over her. In the end, the gavel slams down, and the verdict is clear. The court grants the divorce, with no settlement awarded to Mrs. Sanders. As I walk out of the courtroom, I feel a surge of triumph. I've won this battle, but the war has left its scars. I may never see Mia again, but I've learned a valuable lesson about trust, love, and betrayal. I've closed that chapter of my life, and as I step into the light, I'm ready for whatever comes next. The deception has been revealed, and the curtain has fallen on the life I once knew. Now, I'm free to rebuild, stronger and wiser, leaving the ashes of betrayal behind.